the Lovejoy swim team.
And you're watching Leopard Spotlight.
Welcome everybody to the first Leopard Spotlight of the year. I'm Kendall Carl.
And I'm Shivani Radhakrishnan.
In this edition, we'll show you a special member of the band,
a ranch that cares,
and a teacher in training.
But first, Jackie shows us how to roll the dice.
Flashing lights, high-tech graphics, and loud music have defined gaming for the past decade. But recently, a low-tech classic has become a formidable competitor against its high-tech rivals.
Once I played one campaign session with them, I was hooked for the rest of my life.
Something not many can say about their favorite board game or video game. But when it comes to the role-playing adventure game, Dungeons & Dragons, players come back for more, year after year.
Off and on for, the better part of almost 40 years now.
Grappled a dragon.
The game, peaking in popularity in the 80s, has seen a resurgence in recent years after the release of a new 5th edition captured the attention of new and experienced players alike.
It's very new player friendly. You can have a friend who knows nothing about Dungeons & Dragons. You can teach them a little bit, put them in 5e, 5th edition, and they will pick it up in like an hour.
Also, a lot of people who played D&D as a kid are now coming back to play D&D now because with the release of like a new edition a couple years ago that was way better than the other ones, that's really brought people back in.
What is he?
My guess is that it usually starts with one person. And if that one person is creative and talented, they really can start to proliferate the game and a lot more people get interested in it.
But how does this dice rolling, map making, and character creating classic continue to seize the imaginations of players surrounded by an increasingly tech-dominated world?
The water is very clear.
It's kind of an escape from technology. I mean, there's a lot of things I could be doing, and this kind of takes me out of that, and it gives me something fun, it's not kind of productive to do, and I just get to connect with my friends.
It appeals to everyone. You don't have to have the best, you don't have to have Wi-Fi to do it. It's local. You just have to be there in person, have a book, some pencils, a pen, a paper. That's all you need for it, and some dice.
With a lot of other video games, it kind of puts you into like a thing that you have to be. Like you have to be the main character. You have to be a certain selection of characters. But with D&D, you can literally be whatever you want. Like even if it's not in the books, you can just make it up. And if someone's okay with it, you just do it. Literally anything.
Let me take a long rest here.
One of the parts that I love is inventing worlds, inventing plots, inventing people and their motivations and their backstories and everything about them.
No, that was a terrible idea.
To me, it's always a lot more fun to have the dice in your hands and roll and get that critical success or that critical failure than it is to just have some computer moderate everything for you.
You got a 7, so...
Whereas if you're playing pen and paper, everybody's together, you're at one table, you really develop sort of a camaraderie that you wouldn't normally get with a video game.
And players don't anticipate the campaign ever ending.
You'll have a key, so now you guys have 2 keys.
Like obviously I wasn't alive 50 years ago when the first game originally came out, but even when I'm playing it, there is a sense of nostalgia to it, like thinking that like this is pretty much the same game that people back then played, and it's like still just as fun.
Whatever you want it to be, it can adapt to that. And that type of game is not going to be gone anytime soon. Whoever you are and whatever you like, I can assure you, you will find something that you like in D&D. You might not like the entirety of it, but you will find something that you really like in D&D. So I encourage people just to pick it up and give it at least a little bit of a shot.
This is Jackie Carroll, reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
There's always been a special little member in the band, but just recently he's brought the whole community together. Nichelle and Sophia venture into the band hall.
Mornings and afternoons in the band hall, a young boy can be seen hanging around behind percussion director Nathan Lewis. But even though Jackson Lewis has a bright smile, his young life has been far from easy.
About 8 months before his surgery, he went to his eye doctor, Dr. Chen, And so she had a couple of tests that she did where he had to keep his head still, and she made him look up in various directions. And she noticed that one of his eyes, mostly his right eye, would turn in too much. That's when she diagnosed him with strabismus. And so basically that means that his eyes were having trouble focusing. And then we had another checkup in March of 2017. And that's when we decided that he probably needed to have surgery.
And then, guess what happened to me? I got some disgusting medicine, and I did never like it. It was terrible.
Despite the surgery going well, the short 2 weeks' notices posed some financial problems. After some discussion, the family decided to set up a GoFundMe page in hopes that families and friends would help out.
I actually donated to Jackson's GoFundMe. I love the Lewis family, and because I've known them for a really long time, and you know, Jackson's really important to Mr. Lewis, and Mr. Lewis is important to our band, so he's important to me, and so I thought, you know, he needs some support in this, and so since he supports us, I support him.
With the help of the community, Mr. Lewis has received more than enough money for Jackson's surgery.
It was pretty overwhelming. You know, we were so reticent to use GoFundMe as a way of raising money for the surgery, and just to see, you know, people come out of the woodwork. You know, it was shocking, but in a good way, I guess.
This is Michelle Liu and Sophia Hessner reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
Just down the road, there's a caring community making a difference in residential care for adults with intellectual and physical disabilities. Cheney and Grant take us around the corner.
Cornerstone Ranch in McKinney, Texas is a group home for adults with intellectual and physical disabilities.
Cornerstone Ranch was founded 12 years ago by David and Cynthia Heaton. David and Cynthia were students at SMU and were involved with Young Life and Young Life Capernaum. And actually when they graduated and were newlyweds, they invited 3 young men to come to their home to live because they just saw that there was such a need for residential care. And then they acquired this land, which is 42 acres, and built the first house. And then 4 years ago, we built the barn, which is where we have our day program. And so we have 7 residents that live here full-time, and then we have 25 that come to the day program.
As a Cornerstone ambassador, resident Avery Figueroa leads many affairs around the ranch.
I've been doing tours with Renee and talking to people about if they want to come here and tour the place around. We go show them things, we show them our art paintings, we show them like everybody's ceramics and stuff like that. And being an ambassador is like going out to the community, giving thank you cards to people, the new shops around the square here in McKinney.
The YMSL group last year did a lot of work in our garden and doing mulch and transporting crushed concrete. This year they are actually making a driveway for us from our road that goes to our barn, so our tractors won't get stuck in the mud, and so we're very thankful for that. We think community is very important. That's one of the most important things to Cornerstone. We love having community come to Cornerstone. We have a lot of church groups that come here, different corporations that come here. The Lovejoy YMSL comes here, and the National Honor Society. So we love community coming here, and we think that volunteering really adds or gives people hope, healing, and purpose. So being with the ranchers, that's what I think one thing that we give back to the community, but we also actually work out in the community. Our ranchers are involved with serving Meals on Wheels. That organization helps feed the hungry. And then there's one other one called Embrace, and they offer kids just resources once they age out of the foster care system. So we love having community come in, and we love going out and being a part of the community and serving as well.
This is Cheney Kelly and Grant Vogel, reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
American Sign Language has been offered here at the high school for many years now, but senior Tristan Hamilton has made it her goal to hand it to a younger audience. Hayden and Kendall have the story.
Senior projects are an opportunity for students to either further their learning or lend a hand to the community. One student at Lovejoy has found a way to do both.
So for my senior project, I'm going to be working with my old kindergarten teacher and her now first grade class. I'm going to be basically introducing ASL to them. I've really been signing since I was a baby. My mom taught me baby sign language, but I've always been interested in the language. She taught me ASL at such a young age because it's just easier for the baby to learn sign language before they actually learn how to talk a lot of the time.
Aside from early life development, there are many other educational benefits reaped from signing.
A lot of students might be visual learners, and so once they learn how to sign, they'll be able to improve their vocabulary. And it means that maybe they could learn faster than other students that just get auditory learning experience. And there's recent research that shows that hearing children who learn how to speak 2 languages with 2 different modalities, meaning a visual language and a spoken language, that research seemed to suggest that the person who has both modalities, that their brain center is more active than somebody who only knows one type of language. It's called a bimodality, and that's really spreading in educational theory, so I think that would be really helpful for them.
If there's anybody out there in the school that's thinking about taking ASL, I highly suggest it because there's just so much to learn from it, and it's surreal, it's crazy.
This is Kendall Carl and Hayden McKenzie, reporting for the Lovejoy News Network.
We hope you enjoyed these stories. Until next time, I'm Kendall Carl.
And I'm Shivani Radhakrishnan.
And remember, if there's a story to find,
we'll find it here on Leopard Spotlight.